The Niners are the best team in football regardless of conference. Go debate in a cave with your echo. That line's actually funny. Don't care what quarterback has played the best or who's the MVP. The 49ers are the best team, and it isn't close.
That tweet's from last night?
Yesterday afternoon.
This afternoon?
Yeah.
Weird. It's been the case since September.
Oh, boy, you better.
Late to the bandwagon, but it's cool, Shannon. Dan, I'll start with you. Are you surprised the Niners dominated the Eagles like that?
No, not at all. Said it on NFL Live. I
Nice
thought the
tie.
game. Thank you. Said it on NFL Live. I thought the game would get out of hand.
Like that, because no, I don't feel that's a nice topic. Go ahead.
It's great. It's in
ahead.
season.
Go
Carry on.
Game
Stay
would get
focused.
out of hand. One, strength versus weakness. San Francisco's strength, stressing teams with formations and motions and attacking middle of the field. Very much so a weakness of Philadelphia. Philadelphia's secondary has struggled all season long. The middle of the field defense struggled all season long. So strength versus weakness, number one. Number two, Philadelphia is coming off of playing 92 snaps on last Sunday's game versus Buffalo. 10 days of rest for San Francisco. And third, and probably the biggest thing, like San Francisco's most talented roster. San Francisco is the best roster and best coach team in football. Last year, the NFC title game was what it was because of the injury. That's why there's so much bad blood between these teams. Because they know, Philadelphia knows that as good of a football team as they are, San Francisco's a more talented roster. And the NFC Championship wasn't one of those games where there was a real measuring stick. You know what I'm saying? So I was not surprised, given the context of how the season had been going. When San Francisco is healthy, that's the best roster, and it's the best coach team in the NFL.
I was surprised that they dominated. I'm not surprised they won. Had they won by 7 to 10 points, I was like, okay, but that explains why. You know the 49ers are a very good team. They got Debo. They got all their guys back. But when this is the second time against two of the top 5 teams in the NFC. They've dropped 42 on them. Once on the road, once at home. So what was the excuse for Dallas? Dallas had the 7 days rest. Now, see, had the Eagles won, we wouldn't even mention they had 3 games in 13 days. They could have took 3 weeks off. They can play in January after not playing since they played yesterday. They can't beat if the 49ers played their best, if every team in the NFL played their best football, can't no one see the 49ers.
Agree.
I am shocked that they 42, 6 straight possessions, they scored touchdowns, not field goals, touchdowns. And when you put the ball in Debo's hands, he's taking 5-yard routes, hitting his head on the goalpost. They're blocking Jennings. They're so great run after the catch. Christian McCaffrey is running, dominating the football game, running the ball. Like you said, Kyle Shanahan does a great job with formations. He does a great job with play calling. But Brock Purdy, right now it's a 2-man race for the MVP. It's Brock Purdy and Dak Prescott. And if you put Brock Purdy because he dominated Jalen Hurts with his team did, and he played sensational head-to-head, I won't fault you. But right now it's a 2-man race. Dak Prescott and Brock Purdy are your MVP front runners.
Several headlines to walk away from this with, okay? Because I don't disagree with anything that y'all said, but it's a few things that we need to point out. Number one, as you just highlighted, it's a 2-horse race in the NFC anyway with the MVP. Jalen Hurts fell off. It's about Brock Purdy and Dak Prescott, just giving props where it's due. That's number one. Number two, this cat, Steve Wilks, defense coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers, you know, the one that
Carolina.
Dave Tepper in Carolina decided to get rid of and whatever. Can we take a moment to give him some love? This is a top-rated defense. You're talking about Swift, Gainwell, and Scott. They rushed for 20 yards on 9 carries yesterday. 20 yards. They had no
I think that's more of a Philly thing than
that's been a problem all year running the football.
I understand it's been a problem all year, but we've seen Swift do some things. We've seen Gainwell do some things effectively. I said 20 yards on 9 carries. I didn't sit up there and say they weren't effective. I said they were non-existent. Sure. So you got that going on, and obviously they bum rushed and they just punched Philadelphia in the mouth. Scoring on 6 straight offensive possessions, you got to give Kyle Shanahan credit where credit is due as well. Philadelphia had an opportunity to execute in the red zone. They didn't do so. They only came away with 2 field goals, found themselves in a hole. I'm thinking walking into this situation, okay, Brock Purdy, in terms of when you're tied or when you're trailing, he's at his worst. They'd probably put him in a hole and see what he could do to get himself out of that. They weren't able to do that yesterday. San Francisco is clearly the best team in football. I don't think anybody can deny that. Yes. I don't think anybody can deny that Purdy's an MVP candidate. I don't think anybody can deny that.
We're going to get to that.
Purdy's
We're going to
favorite
get to that.
Purdy's the favorite.
We can get to all of that, but in the end, here's what I walked away with as well. I'm going to say it because it needs to be said.
What you got?
The kind of beatdown that took place yesterday, one could argue it delegitimized the Philadelphia Eagles as NFC champions. Because 4 quarterbacks.
Last year?
4 quarterbacks. Let me finish.
Oh
4 quarterbacks
pretty good,
go
right?
down. 4. Have you seen that in NFL history, Dan?
No, sir.
4 quarterbacks for one team go down in the same year.
Right.
All right? They had no quarterback behind center after from the second quarter on in an NFC championship game.
Yes, sir.
What I'm bringing up is that Deebo Samuel comes on First Take during Super Bowl
Yes.
week. And privately off the air, he's pretty ticked off because he's like, we should be here. Obviously, obvious emotion. I'm not revealing anything that he hasn't said to anybody else. But he said that on First Take, Super Bowl week in Arizona last year, right? Then we come in and we're looking forward to this. What are we looking forward to watching San Francisco coming into the game yesterday? They've been talking about how we should have been the ones that were there, not y'all.
Yes.
Showed up, talked trash. Philadelphia, you got Sirianni. He's sitting up talking junk. He's gonna sit up there and show his team film with what San Francisco's saying about him. They come onto the field, walk right through midfield, right past the Eagles, just shoving them aside like y'all know, letting them know we are here to kick your ass.
Yeah.
Okay. And then promptly went out and kicked their ass.
that was a demolition.
So what I'm saying to you is that it's the same team without their quarterback. It's the same team. Right. This is before Greenlaw got ejected. It's still Debo. It's still Kittles. It's still McCaffrey. It's still wanted.
It's a valid point, but injuries are a part of the game.
I understand injuries. I'm just talking about their mentality. You guys played. I'm saying their mentality was we should have been there.
They hate each other.
I'm saying, but totally. Listen, I understand. But we should have been there. We had no quarterback.
Yeah.
We were behind the 8 ball. But when we got our ducks in order, what y'all gonna do? Told you coming into the game, and then promptly went out there and whipped your living you know what.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That brings into question, all right, who would have been there? Kansas City ain't San Francisco. Not that San Francisco team we've been looking at this year.
The team that won the Super Bowl last year.
Listen, come on, man. We talking about the greatness of Patrick Mahomes and what you had in place compared to what he's got now, the receivers that he's got thrown the football.
He's trying to say they might not have got there.
I don't think there's a massive debate over that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But why are you arguing about it?
But you're talking about it like there was no shot they would have made it. The Super Bowl performance has to matter.
No, I'm saying to you, forget the Super Bowl. I'm talking about the NFC Championship game with that team.
Like I said, I thought
they
San
just
Francisco
went
would
against
win.
that did not have
So you predicted this Friday on NFL Live.
Yeah.
Why did
you saw 42-19?
Yeah, I thought it would get because again, Philadelphia has played a gauntlet.
Yeah.
I don't believe Philadelphia has played well. They've been clutch,
Yes.
but they have not played well.
I agree with that.
Their offensive line has not been nearly as
pressured 25 times. That's the most in his career.
You literally just took the words. Their offensive line has not been nearly as dominant as it was last year. And so we have to be honest. Again, the strength versus the weakness thing, like that's a very valid thing. The amount of snaps that they had played, San Francisco's coming off 10 days rest. But I do not believe, and I love Philadelphia. They're a very good team. I don't think last night's a fluke because of it.
I don't either.
I think it adds to it. San Francisco is the best team. My biggest takeaway, honestly, in this conversation, MVP? Brock Purdy?
Yeah. I think he and Dak Prescott, you look at the
NFC.
Well, I don't think that even in the AFC.
But
I'm not ruling out Tyreek.
Give us your previous feelings on Brock Purdy, the player.
Tyreek has numbers, but I think the thing is, are you going to the quarterback throws for 5,000 yards? Are you going to give it to a receiver with 2,000? Which maybe that's the case.
Yesterday swayed you, Shannon.
Can you give us your perspective on, because correct me or not, your words, Brock Purdy is a replaceable game manager.
No. I don't think he's replaceable. I think
product of a system.
We've seen guys play well in that system, but not be Brock Purdy. And it's that's no. But see, I believe that you can be a good quarterback or a great quarterback and not be elite. We're just so quick to attach that title, elite. The dude played 15 games. We need to see this over a period of time. That's normally what we did, Dan. You played the quarterback position. You had to go years and do it consistently before they attach that title of elite. Now with social media, a guy has one game, he throws for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's elite. And that's not where I'm going. But I will say this. They both could have played on Sunday and then lined up again on Thursday, and the 49ers beat the hell out of the Eagles. They are just better. You don't talk like they talk, like Debo and those other guys talk. And the Eagles heard what they said all season. So you know I'm going to be on my best behavior.
Yeah.
You know what the Eagles are going to be. They knew what the 49ers were going to be. And to go in there and do a demolition job, the Cowboys and the Eagles, and 42-10, 42-19.
Yeah, it was a beatdown. I don't think Philadelphia has the people on defense to match up with San Francisco now. I don't think anybody does.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we've talked about the NFC guys, and we've said, like, it's the big three, San Francisco, Philly, Dallas. Really, it's the big one.
Yeah.
It's the big one.
But are you concerned about them staying healthy? Because it feels like injuries always
San
an
Francisco?
issue with San Francisco.
That's with anybody. It's a war of attrition.
I think you're concerned with everybody staying healthy.
Okay, so
now,
out of the ordinary.
Their five cats are a little bit different than everybody else. Like Trent Williams, his health is paramount.
Locks down the left side.
Debo's health paramount. McCaffrey's health paramount. So I don't know if I'm concerned. They're just very top heavy.
Yeah.
Right. They stress you.
No one stresses you like that.
They stress you vertically and horizontally because you start going one way and then they flip the ball and here come Debo.
Shannon, did you see those linebackers last night?
Listen. Here's the deal. We're looking at this lopsided affair. We understand that San Francisco just looks better and the way they've been playing and the competition that they've beaten, we got to give credit where credit is due. The flip side to it is that the lack of rest Philadelphia had compared to San Francisco. And obviously, they got punked. They got beat up yesterday, and we don't expect that to happen again. So now it becomes the question, well, what would Brock Purdy do if he found himself in a deficit, if Philadelphia was able to convert those red zone trips into a
instead of six, get 14.
If you squeeze Brock Purdy a little bit, what would it be then? Now, to me, I'm just saying, it's a legitimate question that others may ask, but it doesn't take away from my point, and that is this. I'm not talking about Brock Purdy getting hurt. I'm literally, not hyperbolically, I'm literally telling you, as you well know, they did not have a quarterback in the NFC Championship game.
Totally agree.
And their whole point was that team did not deserve to be there yet last year over us, and then went out on the field and told them beforehand, Dan, I'm coming to slap you upside your damn head and ain't a damn thing you're going to do about it. And told you weeks, days in advance, and then go on your home field
all black
and do it.
Right.
Love that.
And do it.
You're saying that's San Francisco's perspective. I got to push back on something, though.
Sure.
Can we stop with what happens if Brock Purdy gets into a deficit? Like we continue, you guys continue to float that out there.
We got to see though.
Well, not just that. Not just that. You have to stop that. See, you got to be consistent. When you're talking about football, not only do you break things down, okay, the way that you do, but you also use numbers to buffer your points as well. Very few do it. So why are you getting on us for doing it?
Because
literally statistically, it said, coming into the game, when the man is trailing or he is tied, he is significantly worse than when he has a cushion.
How many
That's
times,
what they've said.
What's the percentage of snaps that number's from?
Shannon pointed out just weeks ago, accurately, I might add, what was he without Trent Williams and Debo? He did point it out. Did you not point it out? He didn't make it up. We ain't making it up.
There's a lot of quarterbacks that are going to perform less without their best offensive lineman, one of the best in the NFL, and then one of the best playmakers in the NFL. They're going to be lesser as a player and a lesser performance. How many?
But in a clutch situation, game on the line, they're down. You trust him to make Tom Brady plays.
At Cleveland, drove him down the field when he did not play his best ball, missed field goal.
Do you trust him more than Dak Prescott in that situation?
Not the Dak Prescott right now. I can't say that.
And